Hello, welcome everybody. Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, getting blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce another runner in the night over here in this morning sunshine as we get you some updated footage on one of my favorite couples camping floor plans. This absolutely ranks up there in like my top 5 nerd preferred couples half-ton towable models. This 252 Coachmen just nails it. It gives me a taller ceiling inside, a true queen bed, a taller shower, so it really fits nicely a bigger nerd ball like me. But we also have things like very easy viewing, direct facing entertainment. We've got an electric space heat and Tootsie toaster here. You got the dinette and the slide giving you the space to sit down, have a bite to eat without really interfering with the flow of everything. There's also some really nice storage in the bathroom, and this has an excellent outdoor camp kitchen station situation, including a real sink with a real drain, which very few camp kitchens include. The refrigerator and the sink, my personal feeling is that those are the two most useful things in a camp kitchen, and they're the sink is one of the things most manufacturers just don't even do anymore. The underbelly of this is enclosed and heated. They are running wide stance stability axles to give you a little bit better ride and handling, which is another factor that really will roll into the potential half-ton towability of this camper right here. But Coachmen's also basically the originator of Asdel use in the RV industry, and they were one of the first to go to dual Asdel on the inside and outside layers of their laminated aluminum framed walls. They have moved away from a laminated floor to avoid any worry about soft spots and gone to a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor deck. There's a couple cool things on this RV, obviously, but there's a couple weird things like they're one of the few brands in this classic category that isn't yet doing any standard solar, but solar is optional, and it's basically all plug and play ready to go. So you could slap solar on it if you want to. So just like that, I'm going to tell you things that are awesome or maybe not awesome and things you need to consider before handing over your paycheck that you worked so hard for. And if you appreciate that fair and candid approach, hit that subscribe button. Let's get in there and see what else she has to offer. And this right here, I think is one of the really nice signature calling cards of this floor plan. That is about one of the most direct-facing, no-neck-wrecker entertainment centers I've seen in a long time. That's Nerdism number 37, if you're keeping track. The TV actually can twist, shout, and pivot about, but that electric space heat and Tootsie toaster down below, I don't recall that being there from years past. So once again, they continue to kind of listen to the things that you're wanting and looking for and incorporating that into their RVs. Another instance of that is where they used to have pleated cloth window shades. They have gone to a blackout roller shade. Maybe I'll give you a demonstration of those in a little bit. They've played with different dinette setups over the years, but they've kind of landed on this free-floating elliptical base right here, which it can be a little bit of an e-knocker, again, being fair, but you can also take it outside, even though the RV has its own outdoor picnic table, or you could pull it over by the sofa and have a little dinofa action. Maybe you want to eat something or do a little bit of light-duty laptop work while you're watching TV. You got the perfect little spot. You may have also noticed what's missing. Carpet and floor vents. And I know, guys, I know how many of you are like, man, I wish I could get an RV with more carpet and tons of floor vents. Like, I know this is a bummer, but that's just not what Coachmen does in their Freedom Express series. However, they do offer a 15,000 BTU air conditioner on this thing. Now, that's become pretty common. It's not standard, but it's become pretty common in the RV industry in sizes and segments like this. Freedom Express has also started offering 50 amp service with the ability to add a second air conditioner up into the bedroom of these. We'll touch on that. The RV that we're looking at today actually is outfitted that way. Someone has asked me once, what if I'm looking at an RV that's already 30 amp and I want to upgrade it to 50 amp? At that point, the juice is not worth the squeeze. You have to rip the guts out of this thing and rewire it in a way that is just not cost effective. And you are very much better off at that stage of just ordering an RV or buying a different one that already has 50 amp service. So a little pro tip from Uncle Josh there. This is the view from the theater seat. Straight down the barrel of that TV. And it's not mounted too high, which is nice because Freedom Expresses have a taller 6'9" ceiling. There is kind of a blank wall panel up here. I think, though, it would be, it's a neat little decoration opportunity or something. What would you do here? I'm really kind of curious. What would you do with that little space right there? As I'm backing up, you might notice they've updated to the Tron lights, as I like to call them. And they are on a dimmer switch. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to send anybody to an epileptic shock. The kitchen is very limited in counter space. again, I always try to be fair. I'm going to try to tell you what I think is good or not good on this RV. And some of it might be my opinion, but I think it's categorically true that this RV doesn't have a ton of kitchen countertop prep space, you know. What it does have though is the bigger 12-volt compressor fridge, the 10 cubic foot variety. I think Freedom Express is one of the few brands still offering a gas electric 8 cubic foot option, and it's small, but they are still including an oven where a lot of manufacturers do not. They are not including any sort of bacon grease protector side splash over here. But then again, that seems to be something that very few brands are really interested in including. Something they do very nicely, though. Take a look at the right side of the screen. They have a very fluffy, friendly bathroom space right here. And that is a porcelain foot flush stool. And notice how it's kind of center mounted on the wall. So you have plenty of room here. You've also got a couple little towel hooks that can flip down right there below that breeze window. And the breeze window does have a blackout privacy shade, so we're not giving the neighbors a free show or anything like that. It does have the conventional 4-inch fart fan up here. There's no special enhancements in that regard. But because there's already the wiring and there's the vent there, if you did want to upgrade to a larger vent after the fact, it wouldn't be terribly difficult to do, but it would be a couple bucks. So kind of keep that in mind. The 6'9" ceiling height means when I stand in the shower, there's plenty of headroom. I'm a little bit over 6 foot myself, so you can see that there's excellent headroom in there. And if we get ourselves into the shower, which is a radius shower, keep in mind, so it might be a little bit of a elbow knocker when you are in that thing. Now, if your dog is like my dog, if he heard that knocking on the door, your dog's currently freaking out. Anyway, shower miser, water saver system going on right there, so that if you are boondocking, you can keep that fresh tank Maxwell house good till the last drop. The rest of the bathroom is nice. It's large. It's got lots of storage, but kind of like the kitchen, it does have really minimal countertop space. And you're looking at this going, what do you mean lots of storage? Well, if we flip around the other direction, that was loud, sorry. Everything below this is your camp kitchen. That's actually why there's a couple vents on the wall. If you notice, like if you get in one of these and see it in person, there's some vents down here on the wall. It's so that the backside of the refrigerator can breathe, as opposed to breathing out of your backside. I don't know where I was going with this, but I don't know that I like where it ended up. So above that, they just had space, and they just opened up the entire thing for all kinds of storage in here. And I like how they throw a shelf in this, but it's removable. And if I get you up here a little bit closer, if you look right up at the ceiling line of it, you might notice how there's actually like a clothing hanging rack up there. It's a little bit short, but for like generic t-shirts and stuff, if what you're looking for is additional hanging storage capacity, nothing tall like Uncle Gary's sundresses or anything like that, but things like this, like it works pretty well. By the way, this is all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry. If you find a spot like this where two pieces of cabinetry tee into one another, feel on the backside of it, and you can literally feel and tell how the cabinets are hooked together, basically. Are they stapled? Are they screwed together? What is it? That's an easy way for you to tell, where you don't have to rely on asking a salesperson everything. As long as we're talking about storage, it just seems kind of appropriate to finish opening everything up here. There's really not much to speak of under the sink because you do have some plumbing there. They put a little protective shield in the way. Something else I noticed by actually getting into the bathroom here, this is your view from the toilet, by the way. Well, if you're standing over the toilet. It actually does have a locking bathroom door. Jayco and Coachmen both seem to be pretty good about that. I think that it's just that experience of actually camping in the RV that sort of brings it all together here. Once again, all of your windows open for airflow. I wanted to make sure you got to see the windows all over the slide sides, because there's a lot of manufacturers that will give you one slide side window visible when you enter the door, but when you get in it, you realize it doesn't actually have breeze through windows or something like that. There's always a way that a manufacturer can try to save a buck. Now, again, I try to be fair. I try to tell you good with the bad. This RV does a lot of things really well. Sitting inside and having amazing views of your campsite with campsite windows, that's not one of the things that this RV does well. This RV has really good awning coverage. It has a really nice camp kitchen. This floor plan is built on the idea that on a nice day, you're going to be outside enjoying the outside, and you don't need as many windows. They created, the floor plan kind of around that concept. Now, that doesn't work for everybody, but that's the idea behind this one. Once again, diving through details here, you see that we do have a sliding privacy door for the bedroom. It would be nice if there's like a little coat hanger or something right by the door there. And any little pocket, any chance they had to include a little bit of extra storage, they did a pretty good job of that overall. Now, this theater seat, one of the nice things here is this is a wall hugger. If you prefer a hide-a-bed, I do believe they do have a hide-a-bed swaption option available to you here. One of the other things that's kind of nice is in this armrest, I actually almost missed it. They actually included a set of hideaway household and USB plugs, but you can also just get that stuff out of the way. I thought that was a nice little touch because it removes the USB thigh buster function from the RV that a lot of things really seem to suffer from. Now, once again, that table is free floating, and the windows here, as mentioned, they do have those blackout roller shades. Now that is, I think it's only like a 60-inch dinette. It's only like a 5-foot sleeper, so it's not the world's biggest. But again, at your request, like they've done things like gotten rid of the carpet, improved the window shades. They have added drawers below the dinette. And this is an interesting example of nerdism number 37, the Pantrytainment Center. So I mentioned earlier how this TV can twist, shout, and pivot about, but I never really demonstrated that. So if you're sitting over at least the side of the dinette that faces toward the TV, you can actually have a pretty nice little conversation going. That is a smart TV, by the way. I don't know if you can read that little sticker. They also have some awesome bonus storage here. Like, this RV doesn't have a ton of kitchen prep space. Again, it really expects you to spend some time outside of the RV. But let me turn on my light in here. Boop. Come on. Boop. There we go. Let there be light. You can see how this has removable or multi-positional, is that a word? It is now, shelving. So if you want to convert that over into some kind of closet space, you can. You may also notice how all of your cabinet doors that swing open sideways, they're all a hidden hinge kind of system. They've also opted with the like the bottom freezer full drawer that slides open, which it doesn't really add any additional space into this fridge freezer wombo combo here. I think it just makes it a little bit easier to access in most regards. Now, up top here, remember, we are a little bit taller, so they added that extra shelf in those overhead cabinets right there, but it's only about half as deep as the cabinet. So if you still have something like tall pitchers where you want to, mix up some sweet tea or something like that, you got a good spot for it. Little glance there at the tire pressure monitor that I spotted. That's a stainless farm sink, just in case you were curious you hadn't seen it. And as we back our way up here, we are greeted by the utensil drawer, which is something I've called this thing for years. And evidently, they decided that my name would be the one for it. So my nerdism, the utensil drawer, which is, to be fair, not exactly like the most amazing original thing, has become the actual name of the object. That's hilarious. Getting those out of the way, this is one of my other only nitpicks and gripes on the RV. They had an opportunity, like under that right-hand drawer, they could have removed at least part of that shelf to make wastebasket space, and they didn't. That's one of the few things that this RV's kitchen just doesn't do very well. I think you could probably, like, put a little wastebasket right by the door or something, but I don't know. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little thing. So, moving on from here. Up in the bedroom. First place I want to begin is the bed. This is a 60 by 80 true queen. It's a normal residential queen size bed. And because they planned for that, they still left you room to walk around it. Now, I don't use fisheye wide angle lenses, so I'm sorry I can't get the entire mattress in the screen all at one time with the style of layout that we're looking at here. But I don't like those fisheye lenses. They feel like they're liars. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look right. It's not how the RV looks. Why do I want to look at it like that? Household and USB outlets on both sides. And as we work our way around, I think it was last year, they redesigned their nose caps on these, and they actually started including some household and USB plugs up in the nose of these in what I like to call the headboard power pockets over there. They even add a little shelf on one so that, if you have really, big stuff, you could put it in there. This year, like it or not, I'm open to feedback on this. They also increased the size of their front windshield on this sucker. One of the other things that they've done is just like a toy hauler, this has a roll down snap-on total blackout sun block and shade right here. So if you absolutely want to blot out the sun, you totally could. And before I forget, When I get you over here up and to the left, on the opposite side of the bedroom, you can see there are TV hookups here. And if you feel like adding a TV on that wall, that's where your backer would be located. Now, I mentioned how this RV can be built with 50 amp service. That's what we're looking at today. Easy ways to tell if you're looking at an RV in person, go check the power plug on the outside. It'll tell you if it's 30 amp or 50 amp. On the inside here, if it's 50 amp, there should be that sticker, but those stickers are designed to peel off easily. And sometimes in just even the hot summer sun, it'll activate the glue enough that they actually kind of peel themselves off. And that's interesting. We've lost power. All right, I don't know what that's all about. We're going to just keep rolling with this beautiful bean footage here as we take a look at our bedroom storage. I really like the symmetry that they accomplished here. Symmetry is something that is just very aesthetically pleasing to me. You have big drawers and hanging closets on both sides. Plus, you've already seen 2 other bonus hanging closet storage potential spaces in this RV. And because they went with a little more of a slightly blunt nose on the front, it's not a total flat nose, so I give it some credit here. They have really good overhead storage above the bed. And because the RV is extra tall, you're not going to hit your head on it if you sit up to read a book. And they actually had the kind of overhead cabinet doors that hold themselves open. Like, I don't know that they really could have executed the bedroom storage much better than they have done. And that like easy lift vaulted bed storage system there, that's something that Coachmen has been doing for years now that a bunch of other builders are actually starting to copy. And I'm not even going to apologize for the fact that our Go Play Stick and Tin trailers at Bish's RV now have their own basically clone version, knockoff of that, because it's just an awesome system that I personally really like. Closing up the slide out, the road mode function on this is about as good as you could really hope for. I'm standing in the bedroom, and by virtue of the fact that the door is over here on the left, I think you understand that you can easily walk through this thing. But really, the television and being able to occupy the dinette in transit, since this is a rack and pinion slide, you shouldn't really sit in that in transit. That's about the only thing you lose, because your storage, your refrigerator, your bedroom, your bathroom, this hits the big holy trinity for travel function, the nap, crap, and snacktastic access features. And if you appreciate that we take the time to close up the slides to show you around these things, hit that subscribe button. Let's hop outdoors with that beautiful greenery we're seeing through the bathroom window. So when our little adventure began today, I described this RV as potentially half-ton towable. Let's quantify that. You're taking a look at the generic brochure weights and measures here, and you'll see even fully loaded with max cargo, it should fall nicely within the limits of a lot of your late model tow package half-tons. And the length coming in just under 30 feet, if we want to call it 30 feet for the sake of argument, that's fine. But a 30-foot camper with wide stance stability axles that is only about 7,600 pounds GVW sounds a reasonable half-ton towing proposition to me under most circumstances. The specific copy of this that we are looking at today, it does weigh in at 6,106 pounds. That could vary a little bit from the specs that you saw on the screen. The brochure weights and measures and the final products that ship sometimes vary just a little bit. Now you might notice they are still using, and again, I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to tell you the ups and the downs. They're still using the little butterfly twist latches, but their magnet holdbacks actually have a little catch right here so that they, they won't fall down and clock you on the head or anything. And they do give this a nice full pass-through compartment. You see that bracket hanging up top? That's actually an outdoor picnic table that's included with this. I'll give you a look at that over on the other side. As we back up here, I want to point out that all the windows are tinted and they all open for airflow. Also, if you're not familiar with the stuff called Asdel, it's a composite substitute. They don't use wood paneling in the walls on this. The layer under the fiberglass and the layer on the inside of the wall, they are both a composite material. And the idea there is it's a little bit lighter weight, which is actually what allows them to gain the taller ceiling without gaining a ton of weight overall. And, God forbid there's any sort of leaking action or something, it's really hard for the wall to fall apart. Not impossible. If you really neglect it a long time, that theoretically could still happen. The other cool thing about Asdel is the sun's beating on this thing right now, and we all know about the phenomenon of heat expansion, right? Well, fiberglass, skin, and wood substrate, Luan, they expand and contract at different rates, and that causes stress on the skin, which can cause stress points, and it can actually cause delamination without a leak. Well, when there's no wood, and you're using Asdel, which is fiberglass and polypropylene, which is the exact same composition as fiberglass skin, which is fiberglass and polypropylene, well then you basically, the skin and the substrate stretch and stress at the same rate. So it really eliminates a lot of opportunity for delamination. Absolutely awesome awning execution. They've included the big rear camp kitchen on this, as well as the entry door, which is very, very nice. And as we get over here, you see how we've got things like the wide stance stability axles. What you don't see is that these also have factory standard tire pressure monitoring. So the wide stance axles, it's almost like if somebody was going to try to push you over and you put your feet, you know, spread further apart like an NFL linebacker or whatever. It helps the RV tow and track better behind you. And it creates less bounce, less wiggle jiggle. Porpoising is the technical towing term. It dampens porpoising effect on RVs. You may have noticed how you've got that little griddle station going on there. I don't know if you caught, but it does have a gas and electric water heater. Some people prefer tankless, some prefer gas and electric. This is running gas and electric. And they're actually, this is one of the few examples, I think, of a good, true camp kitchen on the outside of the RV. You've got the fridge, you've got a real sink with hot and cold water with a real drain. You have a second instance of the utensil drawer, plus an additional drawer for things like spatulas and whatnot. All of our lower cabinetry in the camp kitchen, by the way, is a galvanized rolled steel. So let's just say you open that door and you know, it's a little bit misty or something. It's going to help keep it from getting damaged. So handy little thing there. And of course, there's a gas grill quick connect below it. Now, as we wrap around the backside here, we have moved over into the realm of shadows. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons nerd, so I'm aware of the fact that when you enter the realm of shadows, space and time operate differently. But what doesn't differ is the fact that this has that 250-pound rated ladder on the back, and that's factory standard. You don't have to go get the telescopic removable ladder or anything. Something that you're not seeing, because it's not there, is a rear receiver hitch, but it is prepped for one. You can literally just bolt a receiver hitch on the back of this if you want a bike rack and not screw up your factory warranty, and I think that's an awesome little detail right there. I also love Coachman's attention to detail on, like, they tend to be very good about where they put their hookups. They're all back here in the back corner where it makes the most sense. It's a single sewer outlet, so you don't got to do the poop scoop boogie to shuffle this thing around. And did you notice the attention to detail, how they actually continued the graphics all the way around the slide sidewalls? I cannot recall offhand a single instance in my nearly 16-year career I've seen a manufacturer take the time to do that. And I love it. So one of the major questions is, well, what's the price of this sucker? I'll leave you some links in the video description. You can check our website one click away, never have to call a salesperson. Any of these that we have in stock will be clearly listed on our site, both MSRP and an actual discounted sale price figure, free of those annoying hidden fees. We are not a fee-ridden kind of dealership, if you know what I mean. And if you've been doing some shopping out there, you probably know what I mean. There's some places that'll tack $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 of magic fees on top of one of these things. I'll also leave you some links to some other builders who have created similar floor plans. Like Surveyor has a pretty good version of a floor plan like this, and I'd love to hear from you. Which one would you go with and why? And short of that, if you appreciate the effort, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.